بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So before we get started, just want to give thanks to this community library and those who put this whole thing together, this lecture. It came at a perfect time as we know Ramadan is around the corner. What's today's Hijri date? Anyone know? How many days to Ramadan? Come on, guys. Huh? 9 or 8 is a bit more.
24.
Today's what? 24, 23, there's some ikhtilaf, but yeah, about this. So we have about 6 days to Ramadan, right? So this came at a perfect time. That way we could talk about Ramadan, get ourselves ready and prepared for this blessed month, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So we thank those who set this together, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless them and reward them for their efforts. Now the topic of today is a Ramadan reminder for the teen boys, making the most of Ramadan. So how to make the most of Ramadan. Now before we get started and talk about Ramadan and the importance of Ramadan and why we need to focus on Ramadan and what we need to equate ourselves in Ramadan, I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story, if that's okay. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes.
Can I give a little bit of a story? It's no problem? Perfect. First off, before I tell the story, what's the age ranges? Who's the youngest in here? How old do we have? I think this guy eating the cookie. You right here, the Puma shirt, at the end. Yeah, how old are you, little guy? 4. So he's probably the youngest. And then what? 5. Perfect. How old are you? 8. Ibrahim, you're 10, right? Good. Yeah? 9? 8. Perfect. So 8. Okay, what's the oldest? Besides the fathers. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 fathers here. Besides the fathers, who's the oldest from the boys? I think it's this guy right here with the Adidas hat. No, oh, he's the oldest? Perfect. How old are you? 17, mashallah. 17 as well, mashallah. And with the Adidas hat, how old are you? Turning 15, mashallah, mashallah. Beautiful. So we can see we have a big range of ages in here. Okay? Now the story I'm about to tell you guys, it actually deals with all of you guys. And it deals with a particular situation that everyone can resemble. And everyone can take some type of benefit and inshallah connect it to Ramadan as well. So right now, we're living in Saudi Arabia, of course. A blessing. Most of us come from the West. I'm from America. In America, much completely different area, much more dangerous, much more bigger problems. And as far as here in Saudi, we don't have that. We can have this lecture at 1 a.m. in the morning and there still wouldn't be issues, correct? So that's what we call a blessing, right? The blessing of safety, an amen. Likewise, everyone in here, some people come with their parents, but I'm going to assume that this entire room lives with their mother and father, correct? Who doesn't live with their mother and father? Good. So everyone lives with their mother and father or is housing the children themselves. You guys might be thinking, Ustad, what is the point of this? Why are we mentioning this? We're mentioning this because in this story I'm about to tell you, the individual, this young man, young boy, he was living like you guys in safety. Then it went from safety to harms and difficulty. He went from losing a parent to not having any parents, to becoming an orphan. He went from being in a land with Muslims or being in a land with people of believers in the same religion to then going on and living around people who it was difficult for him to practice his religion properly. And all of this in this story is very important. Why? Because in order to truly benefit from Ramadan, to truly take the benefits and understand how to prepare for it, then you must understand the great blessing that we have first and foremost, so that we can increase in that blessing. As Allah tells us in the Quran, وَلَئِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you are thankful, then indeed I will increase you. Now, we already talked about in this story, or the beginning of the story, where the boy, he lost his parents, he was removed from his country, he became an orphan, he's living amongst strangers, he's practicing his religion around people who are not practicing the same religion as him. Likewise, what happens? Not only that, he was free, able to do as he pleased, able to come and go as he liked. Then he went into slavery. Anybody heard this story? Nobody heard this story? It's a pretty well-known story. No one's heard of it before? Some of you guys even went into slavery. Some of you guys might have heard of this story. Let me give you guys a hint and add on to the story. This person, not only was he in slavery, but he even went to jail. As America we say, he got locked up.
Okay.
It wasn't Imam Ahmed, even though Imam Ahmed went into these same things. I'm not sure if he went into slavery, but yes, these same things happened. Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusuf alayhi salam. Why do I want to tell you guys today this story? Because again, it's connected to Ramadan in a way. If you guys can pay attention with me. This is from the best of the stories. As Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He says, نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ أَحْسَنَ الْقَصَصِ بِمَا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ وَإِن كُنْتَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ لَمِنَ الْغَافِلِينَ. We relate to you, O Muhammad, the best of the stories and what we have revealed to you, and which is the Quran, although you were before it unaware. So you guys, I just asked you guys about this story and no one could guess. So inshallah, it's going to be interesting, inshallah, because I'm going to ask you guys questions. Guys, it's not me just talking, okay? We're going to be interactive. And I'm going to ask you guys some questions as we go along. I want to see who's paying attention, who's been truly benefiting. That way we can truly benefit from Ramadan. So all of these stories of the prophets, alayhim salam, is a benefit for us. It helps us to strive. It helps us to be the best we can be. And they are indeed our role models. They're the ones we seek to be like. As Allah Ta'ala says in another ayah, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي قَصَصِهِمْ. Indeed, in their stories, عِبْرَةٌ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. It is an admonishment, it is a reminder for those people who give thought. Now, this ibarah right here, anybody know what this word means? Can anybody explain it for us? This right here is not only a reminder or a lesson or an admonishment, but it's something which you can derive even rulings from. You can derive practices from. You can implement. You can call to. You can teach. Okay, so this is the point of this story that we're going to get to in about Yusuf alayhi salam. Now, in this story, we talked about the prophets generally, but Allah Ta'ala chose to single out Yusuf alayhi salam, where He says, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي يُوسُفَ وَإِخْوَتِهِ آيَاتٌ لِلسَّائِلِينَ. So indeed, in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, there was an admonishment, or there was a proof, signs for those people who seek to ask. Now, who can think of some of the trials that Yusuf alayhi salam went through? Perfect. His brothers went against him, right? They deceived him, and they got him, ultimately led to him getting imprisoned and sold into slavery.
They also lied to his father, saying that he was eaten by wolves.
Mumtaz. They also said that he was eaten by wolves. They lied to the father. Perfect. What else? What happened to Yusuf alayhi salam specifically? In the back.
He was left in a well, and then people found him inside that.
Perfect. He was put into a well. Perfect. And then people found him, and that's when he got sold into slavery for a cheap price as well.
And then he became one of the advisors of the king.
Perfect. That's later in the story. True. But I'm talking about right now, just the hardships. Someone else in the back. He got falsely accused of what? Of zina, right? Of trying to go after women. Perfect. What about you right here in the middle? Yeah, you. He was in jail for a while. Perfect. All these different trials. So, Yusuf alayhi salam, he went from trial to trial, hardship to hardship, humiliation to imprisonment, honor to having no honor, being imprisoned for many years, separated from his family, being with his family, then being separated alone without his family, to ultimately at the end achieving his different goals. Sadness to grief, ease to poverty to ease again. If we were to go and look at the benefits of this story, some scholars say it can easily go over 1,000. Like Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala, he said if you were to go and extract the benefits from Surah Yusuf, you can get 1,000 benefits easily. And he tried to do it, but rahimahullah, he passed away before it happened. Have any of you guys heard of Ibn al-Qayyim? Huh? Perfect. He was a great imam. He was from the students of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah ta'ala. Shaykh al-Islam, you get this nickname being the scholar of Islam because of your different well-versed abilities and the different knowledges. This was his student. He died in the year 751, Ibn Qayyim, rahimahullah ta'ala. Ibn Taymiyyah died in the year 728, Hijri. So this is nearly 700 years ago. And he gave us these different benefits from this story. Now, let's go through and look at this. So, the first benefit, we're going to talk about some of these benefits connected to this story. Okay? Keep it in mind. The name of the title of this lecture is about Ramadan. How to abstract and get the best out of Ramadan for yourselves, preparing for Ramadan. Okay? So the first benefit is the importance of having ikhlas, sincerity. The importance of having ikhlas in order to achieve your goals, in order to get to where you need to be, and have khayr in this life and in hereafter. Where can we find that in the ayah or in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam? Allah Ta'ala, He says, وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَنْ رَأَى بُرْحَانَ رَبِّي كَذَلِكَ لِنَصْرِفَ عَنْهُ السُّوءَ وَالْفَحْشَاءَ إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُخْلَصِينَ. So, and she certainly tried to seduce him, and he would have inclined to her had it not been for the proof and the signs of his Lord. That is how we avert the evil and immortality away from our servants. Indeed, he was from the chosen servants. So, we see clearly from this ayah, if you're being sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you're striving for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sole commands alone, without any partners, then you will be from the mukhlasin, the sincere ones, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant ease to you and make all them different hardships go away. Now, I don't want to get too technical, but however, in this ayah mukhlasin, it also comes in another recitation of this surah, mukhlisin. Does anybody know the difference between mukhlasin and mukhlisin? If someone gets this, mashallah. Don't worry, fathers, you guys can participate as well, huh? Say it again? I can't hear you, I'm sorry. I'm having an issue with this ear right here. Yeah, there we go. Get the microphone out.
You just named the plural of the word ikhlas?
No, mukhlasin and mukhlisin. So maybe I should have wrote it on the board. Mukhlasin has a fatha on the lam. Mukhlisin has a kasra on the lam.
After men and women?
After
Mukhlisin?
No, nothing connected to this. Good try though, good try.
Is mukhlasin those which Allah makes sincere?
Perfect. Mukhlasin, right? Okay. Those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes sincere. Good. Perfect. He's halfway there.
Mukhlisin.
Khalid, do you
Those who
know?
are already sincere.
Khalid, do you know?
You're very close. Very
That
close.
was from him, I think.
Very, very, very close.
Those who have become sincere.
Huh?
Those who have become sincere.
You guys are very close. Same kind of what he said.
The difference, I think, Mukhlisin, they are people who they themselves became instead of, I don't know.
You're close. No, you're close. You're close. They themselves, yes. You're on the path. I'm sorry. You guys are all very close. I think you guys were the closest right here. This one right here in the back. He didn't finish it, but he was on the way.
I don't know how to phrase it.
No problem. So mukhlisin, first,
They become sincere.
huh?
It's instead of being chosen by God, for example, it's like they themselves became Muslim.
They themselves are sincere, period. Which means what? They are a source of khayr. Meaning they call to that sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And they themselves, it's in their makeup. Okay, the first one is having the maf'ulun bihi, meaning the action being taken to. The other one is the actual doer of it. Okay, so the one who is sincere of himself, this was Yusuf alayhi salam, both. He encompasses both of them. He, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, chose, but he himself, in his makeup, in his essence, was already someone who was sincere and upright and good character. Alayhi salam. So, jazakallah khair for you guys' guesses. So that's the two differences. So the first one, remember, it was what? Trying to strive to become mukhlis, right? Having ikhlas, having sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second benefit we can take from this story is that it is necessary for a slave of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala to always take the means that leads him away from any type of fitna, any type of trials and tribulations, anything that will cause any type of harm upon him, any type of sin, any type of transgression. Where can we get that from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, or the ayah, or the surah of Yusuf? Where can we get that? Is there any instance where he ran away from trials and tribulations? He ran away from fitna. He physically tried to get away from it. I'm giving you guys a rap.
Ran away from the woman.
Perfect. So there was an instance where he physically tried to get away from someone calling him to some type of evil action. A woman trying to call to some evil. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وراودته التي هو في بيتها عن نفسه وغلقت الأبواب وقالت هيت لك قال معاذ الله إنه ربي أحسن مثواي إنه لا يفلح الظالمون. So Allah Ta'ala, He says, and she, in whose house he was staying in. So this is the Aziz, this is the master in whose house he was taken into slavery. His wife now is trying to approach him, trying to call him to some evil. She closed the door and said, come you, hey talak, come you. Meaning the door is shut, no one's looking, come. He said, I seek refuge in Allah. Ma'adh Allah. Indeed, He, meaning my master, the one whose house I'm in, He is good to me, and He gives me good residence. And indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't give success to the wrongdoers. So this is an instance where we're encouraged to physically try to remove ourselves from any harm. Physically. Someone's coming at you, they want to harm you, they want to speak evil to you, remove yourself. Okay, remove yourself in totality. Likewise, let's say you yourself, maybe you're inclined to do something evil, something bad, something your parents don't like, something Allah Ta'ala doesn't like. First thing and foremost, you as well are inclined to remove yourself from that in totality. For example, right here I have an iPad in front of me. You know your parents don't like you watching YouTube at this time of night or this time of the day. You know it's time for you to be going to bed. You know it's time for school in the morning, etc. But you're doing what? You're looking on YouTube. Right? In this situation, if you're looking at YouTube and you know your parents don't like it, even worse, you're looking at something that's haram and Allah doesn't like it first and foremost, then you leaving it and fleeing from it is something which Allah likes and will help you and aid you in. Likewise, the Prophet ﷺ said, those people who are inclined to do evil acts, but they don't do it. Why? Because they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They leave it off. They don't do it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will write for him a good deed. Check that out. So the fact that you can go, and your intention is to do something evil. You want to do something evil. However, you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You stop. And you leave it off. You say, you know what, I'm not going to look at this iPad this time. YouTube, I know my parents don't like it. I didn't even want to look at that thing. I need to fear Allah. Guess what? You left it for Allah's sake. Allah gave you a reward anyway. So that's the second thing. Fleeing from fitna. Getting away from it physically, mentally, etc. The third benefit is the importance of constantly seeking refuge with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in times of ease and in times of hardship. Now, guys, I'm gonna recite the ayah to you that I just read. And I want you guys to abstract this benefit, this third benefit, which is the importance of consistently seeking refuge with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in times of ease and in times of hardship. Okay? You guys ready? You guys ready?
Yes.
I don't know. Some of you guys don't look ready. You sure you ready?
Yes.
Perfect. وراودته التي هو في بيتها. So she, in whose house he was, عن نفسه, sought to seduce him against his will. وغلقت الأبواب وقالت هيت لك. And she locked the door and she said, come you. قال معاذ الله. Yusuf alayhi salam, he says, I seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إنه ربي أحسن مثواي. Indeed, he is my Lord. And Lord here, they mean the person who's in charge. You're the master. Meaning, he's the one who took him to slavery. إنه ربي أحسن مثواي إنه لا يفلح الظالمون. Indeed, he is my master who has made good my residence. Indeed, wrongdoers will not succeed. So again, the third one is what? The importance of consistently seeking refuge with Allah when in times of ease and in times of hardship. Where can we find that in this ayah? I want to get some other people. I see 2 hands keep going up, and may Allah reward you guys. I want to get some other people. What about in this row right here? You know, you guys are looking in the back. One of you guys. MashaAllah. What about you? What's your name again? Yusuf. MashaAllah. Yusuf, you got the answer for me? No? Huh? Try. They say there's 2 people who, in the hadith of Aisha, there's 2 people who will not learn. The one who's what? Shy. And the one who what? Lazy.
When he refuses the temptation.
Perfect. He refuses temptation. How does he refuse it?
By saying no.
Huh?
By saying no.
By saying no. That's good. But there's something he says specifically.
He said that, I forgot the question today. I believe that would be right.
Huh?
He said that,
It's at the end of the ayah that you just mentioned.
It's at the end of it. Okay, I want somebody to get it for me. Huh? No. Close though.
Yeah, he said, قال معاذ الله.
Perfect. Ahsant. What's your name? Abdullah, mashallah. He says what? Ma'ad Allah. Meaning, I seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Same thing as saying, A'udhu billah. Same meaning. To say, A'udhu billah. To seek refuge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this situation, this is the importance of consistently seeking refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in times of ease and in times of hardship. This right here was in a time of hardship. How can I do it in a time of ease? What's an example? Perfect. You don't have no immediate temptation or anything to do something wrong. You just say, A'udhu billah. Why? Because the thought came. Perfect. Even also in our salawat. What do we do after salat? What do we do? Dhikr. Perfect. This is a form of dhikr. Remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? Now let's go into the fourth point. The fourth benefit we can take from this surah. Also, guys, keep in mind, this benefit's been going forever. But I'm just trying to give you some that's going to help you in the immediate future. So the fourth one. When he fears falling into trials and tribulations of sins and disobedience, to make dua with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to have patience. Striving to keep away from them, just as Yusuf alayhi salam, he did. Now, this right here, I want to get you guys to guess this one. And the fourth point, we're looking for a time where Yusuf alayhi salam made supplication, dua to Allah. The first one we said, dhikr, right? Seeking refuge with Allah. That's also a form of dua, but I want a clear dua from the surah where he asked Allah for something. Does anybody remember that in the story? No, that's when Allah Ta'ala revealed to him, لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا. You're going to let them know what happened. But he didn't make dua here.
When he was out of prison?
Huh?
When he was out of prison?
When he was out of prison or when he was going to prison? Which one?
When he was
In the minute.
When he was out of prison.
he was going to prison.
When he was going to prison. When he was going to prison. Before he went, remember, what happened in the story is that after that time,
It's better than what I've been forced to do.
I'm sorry?
He said prison is better than what I've been forced to do.
Yes, again, this is before prison. You're right. Stay with me. So what happened after the first time when that happened? The master of Yusuf alayhi salam, the slave owner, he came and he investigates the situation, and he decides, it seems as though Yusuf alayhi salam is in the right here. So he lets it go. He leaves it off completely, correct? He leaves it off, And he tells Yusuf alayhi salam not to mention it ever again. Not to mention. Why? Because it's an embarrassing situation. Don't mention it. However, and he tells Yusuf alayhi salam also to turn away from it completely. Yusuf a'rid an hada. A'rid means turn away. Don't mention it. Don't think about it. Don't speak about it. Nothing. Okay? وَاسْتَغْفِرِي لِذَنْبِكَ. Talking to his wife, saying what? Seek refuge with Allah Ta'ala from what you did. Seek forgiveness, for indeed you're wrong. إِنَّكِ كُنْتِ مِنَ الْخَاطِئِينَ. Indeed you are from those who made a mistake. Now what happens later? What happens later is that same woman, along with other women from amongst the city, come to Yusuf alayhi salam. They try to convince him and force him to do this action. And this is what leads to the fourth point that we said about making dua. As the brother right here, what's your name at the end? Dawood, as he mentioned. MashaAllah, nice name. As he mentioned, he said what? قَالَ رَبِّ السِّجْنُ وَأَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِمَّا يَدْعُونَنِي إِلَيْهِ. Indeed, sijin, jail, is more beloved to me. I'd love to go there. And he ate me and getting there versus that which they're calling me to. وَإِلَّا تَصْرِفْ عَنِّي كَيْدَهُنَّ أَصْبُ إِلَيْهِنَّ وَأَكُنْ مِنَ الْجَاهِلِينَ. And if you do not protect me and take me away from this, indeed I will be inclined to do this action, and I will be from the ignoramuses. Those people who are ignorant.
There's this hadith. It says, there's 7 people that are
Promised
promised
paradise.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is a person who turns away an offer from a woman. The other one is a child who leaves for his parents, a person who's a small child who's old age.
Mm-hmm.
So, heard hadith, but is that true?
How what?
Heard hadith, but is that true?
Yeah, the hadith is true. This is the hadith about those people who were stuck in the cave. They were stuck in the cave. What the brother mentioned, you guys all heard him? Perfect. What he mentions about the hadith where the 3 young men were stuck in the cave. And there was a rock, there was a big boulder in front of the cave. And they were making dua. They were seeking refuge with Allah by asking about their good deeds. You know, we used to stay away from this for your sake, Allah. We used to stay away from this, we used to stay for this. One of those men in the cave was a boy who he mentioned who said, indeed, I had the ability to commit this zina with this woman he loved dearly, but instead he stayed away from. So Allah removed the rock from this cave. Yeah, the hadith is true. Jazakallah khair. Yeah, so going to the fourth point. The fourth point was what? Making dua to Allah Ta'ala, as Yusuf alayhi salam did right here. Asking that Allah put him in jail rather than deal with his fitna. Okay, so the third and fourth point. One was dhikr, seeking refuge. The other one was dua. It's important to understand, brothers, this is very, very important, okay? These 2 matters right here are important for you to use and necessary. It's a must for you to use in any situation at all times, but especially when you have a bad thought or you're inclined to do some bad. Everyone is inclined to evil, except for those who Allah Ta'ala has mercy on. In Surah Yusuf, Allah Ta'ala, He says, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَآمَارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. Yani the soul, it's inclined to do evil. It's inclined to do evil. إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي. Except for the one who Allah Ta'ala, my Lord, He has mercy on. Inna Rabbi Ghafur Rahim. Indeed, my Lord is the most forgiving, the all merciful. So those 2 is important to do, no matter what. No matter what. Always continue with your dhikr, your adhkar, your dua to Allah Ta'ala, so He can protect you. The 5th point, and I have 10 points, okay? We're halfway through. And then we're going to get to the juicy part of this, and how this all connects, okay? How this all connects to Ramadan. The 5th, attaining beauty inwardly and outwardly. Now, Yusuf alayhi salam, he was known to be a very, very, very handsome man. Very handsome. So the 5th one is attaining inward beauty and outward beauty. Yusuf alayhi salam was already given a natural beauty. Already given a natural beauty. But he also had that inward beauty. Okay? That inward beauty is having modesty, having ikhlas, guarding one's chastity, guarding one's respectability, having honor in yourself. When we stay away from sins, it's not only because Allah Ta'ala encourages us to do so, but it's because we have honor. We can't be like that. As Allah Ta'ala, as Yusuf says it early in the story, if you don't take me away from this, I'll be from the ignorant. Ignorant people, do they have honor when they fall into ignorant things over and over and over again? Do they care about what people say or how they're looked at or perceived? La. We as Muslim men, we have honor. Muslim boys, growing up to be grown men, eventually having families and being married, you have to protect your honor. So the inward beauty is what? Staying away from that which Allah Ta'ala would has protected us from with ikhlas. Now, just adding to that point of his outward beauty, because we know that if you have the inward beauty, the ikhlas, staying away from what Allah Ta'ala protected, and loving those things which Allah loves, and staying away from those things which Allah hates, that beauty inwardly would manifest on the limbs. It will manifest on the limbs, meaning you will start doing actions that are beautiful. You will be given a light, a nur from Allah Ta'ala. You will start to have a different type of honor and that izzah that can only be given by Allah Ta'ala. And we see how beautiful Yusuf alayhi salam was in the ayah, where the woman, she invited the other women to the house, and told Yusuf to go out in front of them while they were holding knives. And what happened? They cut their arms, yes, because they weren't paying attention. They were so taken back about the beauty of Yusuf alayhi salam, they cut themselves. This was the beauty of Yusuf alayhi salam that Allah Ta'ala gave him. Okay? So she said, قالت اخرج عليهن, go out in front of them. فلما رأيناه, so when they seen him, أكبرناه, they was like, became astonished. Whoa, أكبرناه. وقطعنا أيديهن, and they cut their hands. وقلنا, this is what they said about his beauty. وقلنا حاشا لله ما هذا بشر. They said, how perfect is Allah Ta'ala? What is this type of beauty? He's not human. This isn't a human being. In هذا إلا ملك كريم. Indeed, this is a noble angel that we're looking at right here. This is how the beauty of Yusuf alayhi salam was. So you can imagine the type of fitna this is that he's being put in. The sixth point, and I'm going to try to speed up inshallah, because I don't want to have you guys waiting too long, huh? The sixth point is guarding one's respectability. How is that? When Yusuf alayhi salam, and respectability, you can also say honor, right? When Yusuf alayhi salam was imprisoned wrongfully, and he eventually interpreted the dream. And I wish I could go through the entire story with you guys, because it's honestly a benefit from the beginning to the end. I wish I could go through the entire story with you guys. But I'm kind of skipping around to give you guys those things in which can help you, inshallah, in the immediate future. Now, when Yusuf alayhi salam was imprisoned, and he interpreted the dream of the king at the time, he was then able and told that he can leave out from the prison. The medic, he said, come to me. But what did Yusuf alayhi salam say? Remember, he's wrongfully imprisoned for something he didn't do, saying that he committed zina. He was trying to attack the women, okay? And he was wrongfully imprisoned, but he refused to come out. What did he do in this instance right here? Does anybody know? Whether you know the ayah or don't know the ayah. Have you heard the story before? If you know the story, then you know what he did. Huh? Perfect. In this situation, Yusuf alayhi salam is in jail, okay? And he just finished interpreting the dream of the king. And the king gives him the ability to leave out of the jail. You're free. Okay, you're free. Go out. And remember, he's been in jail at this particular situation, the ayah says, bid'i sinin, which is like, some of the mufassirin, people explain this ayah, say about 7 years. Could be longer. Some have said 10. Some have said longer. Now, he's in jail for 7 years. He's given the opportunity to leave out of the jail. But he refuses to go out because he wants to uphold his honor. He wants to uphold and protect his respectability. How does he do so in this situation?
The king said someone come to come out.
Perfect.
He goes, go back and ask the king, what happened to those ladies?
Yes.
Basically, accuse me.
Perfect. Ahsant. So what happened? Yusuf alayhi salam refused to go out the jail until his respectability and his honor was returned. Even though he was in jail, imprisoned wrongfully. He told him, the messenger, go back to your king Before I leave here, ask them what really happened. Did I do that action that I'm being accused of? Or are they making it up? I'm not going to have you guys, stomping on my honor. This is what's taking place, okay? In this, we see the clear permissibility to always protect your honor, but also defend your honor. A Muslim should always respect his honor and take care of it anyway. However, he should also protect it and defend it in certain situations, just like this, when you're being accused of something which is magnificent as this. Did you have something else? Should I finish off? Okay, perfect. The seventh point, and that is the excellence of having complete iman and certainty and contentment with Allah Ta'ala. The reason Yusuf alayhi salam was able to maintain and uphold his posture and his upright character and mannerisms and mind state, okay? He didn't become depressed. He didn't become lonely, to the point where he couldn't function. He didn't go and start doing actions which were displeasing to Allah. He didn't cause a fight or fuss. How did he get to this level? Because he had high iman, complete iman, certainty and contentment with Allah Ta'ala and His qadr. Okay, and understanding that this was happening for a reason. The next one, I'm kind of speeding up now to get through the points a little bit. The eighth one is, with good manners, a slave of Allah achieves a good life sooner or later. Remember that. Upholding what Allah Ta'ala commanded you, and having good manners and doing so, being patient, having taqwa. Eventually, whether you be in a hard situation or an easy situation, Allah will always take care of you in this life or in the hereafter. Allah says, وَقَالَ لِلَّذِي ظَنَّ أَنَّهُ نَاجٍ مِّنْهُمَا اذْكُرْنِي عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ فَأَنْسَاهُ الشَّيْطَانُ ذِكْرَ رَبِّي فَلَبِثَ فِي سِجْنِ بِضْعَ سِنِينَ. So he said to the one who was leaving out the prison, mention me to your master. Meaning, remind him that I'm still in here unjustly. Okay? Let him know that I'm in here wrongfully. What happened when that man left? فَأَنْسَاهُ الشَّيْطَانُ. The shaitan caused him to forget. فَأَنْسَاهُ الشَّيْطَانُ ذِكْرَ رَبِّي. To mention it to the king. He forgot completely. So what happened to Yusuf? فَلَبِثَ فِي السِّجْنِ بِضْعَ سِنِينَ. So he remained in jail for another few years. And again, in Tafasir, they say this could have been 7 years. Remaining in jail wrongfully because this guy, because first off, you were being oppressed. But second off, the guy who you told to talk to the king, he forgot. Imagine. What's going to happen in it? What would we do in this situation? Let's say, I say to Yusuf, right here, Yusuf. I tell Yusuf, listen, I need your help. Mention that I'm in a hard situation. So let's say you know the king, King Salman, right? Mention to him that I'm stuck here, my iqamah is finished, but I need to get out of here, okay? And you have the ability to do so. And he knows that my iqamah is finished as well. And I'm stuck, I can't leave, can't make money, I can't get a job, I can't do nothing. Okay, me and my family were poor, whatever. I'm in a hardship. Now, Yusuf right here, he forgets. Okay? Yusuf forgets. Not only does he forget, I remain in jail for another 7 years or more. Not only that, but Yusuf, after this 7 or few years, he tries to come back to the jail and ask me for a favor. What's that favor he asked me? He asked me to interpret the dream for the king. And this is what happened to Yusuf alayhi salam. Not only did this man forget to uphold what he said he was going to do, but he also came back and asked for a favor. How does this connect to this point of having good manners? And then know that the believer is going to achieve good sooner or later? Because Yusuf alayhi salam didn't even mention it to him. He didn't even say, "No, I'm not going to interpret that dream." And he had the right. We would probably have did the same thing. We probably would have been a little bit upset, correct? Who wouldn't have been upset to stay in jail for another 7 years? But he didn't do that. He didn't even mention it to him. Rather, he did something even better. He interpreted the dream exactly how it was and didn't ask for nothing. Okay? I'm sorry?
The guy asked him to interpret his dream in the beginning.
Exactly. Sense. What's even worse is that this same person was in jail with him. When he first came in, he said, we see you to be from the muhsineen, to be from the good doers. So he told him, can you please interpret this dream? And Yusuf alayhi salam interpreted that you're going to eventually go and be a worker for the king. You're going to get out of here and be a worker for the king. He interpreted his own dream. So he answered 2 questions for him and did 2 favors for him. Meanwhile, Yusuf alayhi salam didn't get nothing in return. Yeah.
So I think that he was having a problem. Then he asked that was source of consciousness, person to person. About matter, well, we had to answer. But then that guy, before you went, remember Yusuf? Came back to
Exactly. I mean, I'm skipping over parts of the story due to time and due to getting back to the main parts. But like I said, I wish I could go through the entire story with you guys. The entire story, wallahi, is a benefit. Like we said, Ibn al-Qayyim said in the beginning of this, you can find over 1,000 benefits. But yes, you're correct. He was asked to do this. He only remembered because the king in this situation, who imprisoned Yusuf alayhi salam, had a dream. He had a dream. Did anybody remember what that dream was? MashaAllah. Mumtaz. So he said, what? I see 7 hefty, big cows eating 7 thin cows. Likewise, I see, you could say corn in this situation. Full corn, full grains. And also I see some other ones that don't have anything on it. How do I interpret this? How do I interpret this dream? How do I go about this? And he goes to his people, his workers, his close counsel, his circle. In this situation, in this day and age, we can say it's our boys, right? Let's say all you guys are my close friends. I go to you guys if I need some help. I come to you guys, I'm like, I'm having this dream. You guys are my close counsel. You guys are supposed to be, helping me. What does this mean? Tell me about this. You guys say you guys can interpret dreams. Tell me about this. None of them knew how to do it. Not one. But the one who was in jail with Yusuf alayhi salam, remember, wait, Yusuf is in jail. He interpreted my dream. He was very good at this. So then that's when he asked to go back and be sent to do that. Now, so having good manners. No matter if people are being wrong to you or people do you wrong, if people oppress you, having good manners. Okay? Upholding those manners. And having ikhlas with Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. The ninth point. The ninth point is kind of a hidden point in the ayah. A lot of people don't really know about this one. Or don't really think about it at least. And that is to be hospitable to guests. If you're a host, to be hospitable to guests. This didn't start. This was a form or a specialty that all the Anbiya had. They were all hospitable to their guests. Okay, and in this ayah or in this surah with Yusuf alayhi salam, we see that he was hospitable when his brothers came. When he said, وَلَمَّا جَهَّزَهُمْ بِجَهَازِهِمْ, when he went to prepare and furnish the supplies, قَالَ ائْتُونِي بِأَخٍ لَكُمْ, come to me with your brother, the brother of yours, from your father, مِنْ أَبِيكُمْ أَلَا تَرَوْنَ أَنِّي أُوفِي الْكَيْلَ وَأَنَا خَيْرُ الْمُنْزِلِينَ. Do you not see that I am the one who fulfills the measures and I am the best of the accommodators? In this situation, the best of the accommodators, meaning what? I take care of my guests. Okay, you guys came to me. Now, at this time, Yusuf alayhi salam, he's out of jail. And he's in charge of dealing with the different proportions. Those proportions in which he interprets the dream of the master, of the king. So he's in charge of it. And he's coming, the guests are coming to him to get their proportion that they can survive with. He said, I'm the best of hosts. Okay, so this is, you guys are going to see how this connects to Ramadan at the end. Think about it as well. The 10th one, showing respect and honoring one's parents. Meaning having good adab with your parents. Treating your parents well. Speaking well of them. Calling them with names that bring happiness and honor to your parents. Showing affection to them. Looking after them and aiding them. We have this in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. For example, in the beginning of the surah, Yusuf alayhi salam, he says, what? إِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفَ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِي. So he addresses his father. He says, oh my father. This right here is understood. It might sound like something basit, yani light, easy. However, this right here shows a form of affection. A form of honor, endearment. He didn't say, hey yo, hey you, hey guy, No. Ya abati. Yani he's called, when you say this ya abati, you're already addressing it in a way that's polite and shows endearment. Same like if I say ya akhi, my beloved brother, my close brother. Okay? Same thing here. Likewise, Yusuf alayhi salam, when his parents were coming into Misr, coming into the place at the end of the story. فَلَمَّا دَخَلُوا عَلَى يُوسُفَ آوَى إِلَيْهِ أَبَوَيْهِ وَقَالَ ادْخُلُوا مِصْرَ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ آمِنِينَ. He said, and when they entered upon Yusuf alayhi salam, he took his parents to himself, meaning he embraced them. He hugged them. He came close to them. He was happy to see them. Showing affection to your parents. And we know, obviously, I'm a little bit older than you guys, but I remember the time where I was, you guys' ages, 17, 15, etc., and how I was with my parents. And when you think that your parents just don't get it, especially in this day and age, digital age. We have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, Twitter, whatever you name it, we got it. Fortnite, gaming, everything, right? And we think that our parents don't get it. They don't care about us. They're not understanding it. They quite can't figure it out. But I promise you, they understand it. And I promise you, they're looking after you to the best of their ability. And I promise you, they care for you and love for you. Just as Yaqub alayhi salam cared and looked after and desired Yusuf. Now with Yusuf, or Yaqub, who was Yusuf's father, Yaqub was away from one of his most beloved sons. Who can guess how many years he was away? Over 20, huh?
27.
27. What do you think? Just any guess. Huh? 23? 30? 25? Talking about an auction. 25, 30, 40. Huh?
70.
Huh? 70. Allahu Akbar. 15. Mumtaz. He was close. The Mufassirin, the people who explain this hadith, they say it was over 30 years, at least. Now let's do the math on this. Yusuf alayhi salam, to the period that he was with, before he was jailed, he was with the Aziz. He was a young boy. وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّ, and once he reached a firm age, an age of discernment. So he was a young boy, and he grew up. This Mufassirin said about 7 years that he was with the king, before he was able to fully interpret dreams. And then this is when the jail situation happened, and the accusations took place. Then we already said he stayed in the jail for how many years? At least 7. At least 7. That's how many years now? 14. Perfect. Then, after he comes out of prison, the time between him getting out of prison, becoming the Aziz now, and then distributing the different food, how many years was that? It's in the ayah, huh?
At least 14 too, because there were 7 years of attitude and 7 years.
Ahsant. So that right there is at least 14 years. Because you have the 7 years of the good crops and then 7 years of the bad ones. How many is that total now? Where we at?
28.
Huh?
28.
Perfect.
So then Yusuf become a prophet after Yaqub.
One second. Let's finish this. So right here now, 28. Then what happened at the end? After those years, there's still a period before he doesn't see his parents. How do we know? Because the brothers are coming to him. The brothers are coming to him and are seeking something from him, which is those different crops that they need, because it's a drought now. So there's some time between this where they're going back and forth. This was a period of time. So it was at least 30, at least, bare minimum. Now your question was, what? Did he become a prophet?
Before Yaqub came after.
Yaqub that's his father. Yaqub was the prophet.
Okay, so
Then Yusuf alayhi salam was born. Got it? Barakallah feek. I'm going to try to finish this up so we can pray, inshallah. Leave the questions to the end so we can pray, and then we'll come back, inshallah. Okay? That was the 10th one. Now you may think, how in the world does this story of Yusuf alayhi salam connect to Ramadan? We're supposed to be coming here to listen to the Ustad, and he's talking about Ramadan. But we end up getting a story about Yusuf alayhi salam, which is still good, but I thought we were talking about Ramadan. Where's the connection here? The connection's in the 11th point. That's the last point we're going to finish on, inshallah. And that is the excellence of taqwa and sabr. And having piety with Allah ta'ala, and having patience. These are having this, it affects your dunya and your hereafter. Yusuf alayhi salam, he didn't reach this great level of success and character except by way of these two things. And this was the result of many years of having patience and sincerity. As Yusuf alayhi salam, he tells us. When the brothers came to him and he finally reveals himself, I'm Yusuf. Right? What did they say? قالوا أئنك لأنت يوسف? Are you Yusuf? قال أنا يوسف وهذا أخي. Yes, I'm Yusuf and this is my brother. قد من الله علينا. Allah, indeed, He favored us. He favored us. إنه من يتقي ويصبر فإن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين. Indeed, those people who have piety, fear Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and are patient, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will not cause His reward to be lost. It will never be forgotten. Now, these two things right here, taqwa and patience, these were the underlining factors in every single thing I mentioned previous to this. The only thing that kept Yusuf alayhi salam, the only things that kept Yusuf alayhi salam stable, in a right mind, free of depression, free from losing his cool, etc., was these two things right here. Taqwa, fearing Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, having a knowledge of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and likewise being patient with the qadr of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Who in here would like to be like Yusuf alayhi salam? Who in here would like to be like Yusuf alayhi salam? Mumtaz. We'd all like to be like Yusuf alayhi salam. Correct? We'd all like to be like Yusuf alayhi salam. Correct? You guys sleeping or what? I want to hear you guys say correct, yes or no? Yes. Perfect. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said about Ramadan, he said it's the shahr as-sabr, and it's the month of patience. These are exchangeable and interchangeable. Okay? Meaning you could say shahr Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, or you say the month of patience. They both hold the same weight and meaning. Meaning we need patience in order to get through this month. And then what did we say? That was from the underlying factors of Yusuf alayhi salam. Correct? Likewise, in the different ayat connected to fasting, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, He says in the ayat, إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّ الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Indeed, okay? You okay?
Yes.
Alright, no problem. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, He says, indeed, He rewards those who fast with a reward that has no limits. Okay? In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, every action, good action, is multiplied 7 to 700 times. إِلَّا الصَّوْمِ, except for fasting. Hadith al-Qudsi says, إِنَّهُ لِي, Allah Ta'ala says that it is for me, وَأَنَا أَجْزِي بِهِ, and I reward for it. I reward for it. Okay, let's go here and pray. After we pray, I'll come back and finish that last bit that connects this whole entire story together, inshallah ta'ala. Okay? Barakallahu feekum. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
Guys, if you need to do wudu, okay, the washroom is just there, and then we'll set up the.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So, guys, not to hold you guys up too long, we're going to try to finish up, inshallah, in the next few minutes. And that is just going to be connecting, inshallah, the points that we went through, with the overall goal, which is to establish some type of stability and mind state, readiness for the month of Ramadan that we're about to go into. Now, the last point, the 11th point that we went through, we said it was what? Two things, which was the underlining factor for Yusuf alayhi salam to be granted success, tawfiq, throughout his entire endeavors. We said it was two things. What were they? Patience is one, sabr, mumtaz. What's your name again? Musa, mashallah. Next one? Patience and taqwa, right? Having fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, piety of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, the ulama say, regarding fasted, as we say in the hadith, that every action is tenfold in reward up to 700-fold, meaning being multiplied, except for fasting. For that is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, and He rewards as He sees fits. Now, they say this is because of that which encompasses fasting of sabr. Okay, sabr, being patient. And patience has 3 different types. Anybody aware of the 3 different types of patience? Anybody aware of the 3 different types of patience? When I say patience, what does this patience mean? What does patience actually mean? What is the essence of patience? Anyone know? There's 3 different types. You have one? Patience upon calamities or trials. Perfect. We could say aqdarillah, mumtaz. We could say the divine decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Good. Also 2 other things. What? Patience upon the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Doing that which He commands us to do. Okay? What's the next last one?
Patience for Allah and words that come.
Perfect. Patience with regards to those things which Allah commands us to stay away from. These are the 3 different types of patience. Patience with that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to do. Patience with regards to that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to stay away from. And patience with the divine decree of Allah ta'ala. What happens. We need to understand and accept this. And we see that Yusuf alayhi salam accepted, he went through all 3 of these different patience. So, once we understand these things, that patience was the underlying factor, and we understand that patience is something that Allah Ta'ala will reward as He sees fits. إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. He gives the reward as He sees fits without any type of restrictions. Likewise, we say Ramadan was what? Shahr Sabr, the month of patience. And we understand why, because of the fasting is included. It needs patience. Then we understand now, inshallah, from the significant things that we can take away from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, is that we're going to need patience in this month of Ramadan, first and foremost. And taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now I'm going to ask you guys. I'm going to let you guys finish it and connect the dots. How, as the title of this talk was supposed to be, how to make or making the most of Ramadan. I want to ask you guys, how can we make the most of Ramadan? How can we make the most of Ramadan? Based upon the story in which we all just went through together. We took different benefits from. Yeah, we can pass the mic about so everyone can hear.
So Ramadan is the month where you have to refrain from some desires. 1, just like Yusuf did. 2,
Keep it like right here,
2, you have to be patient in times of hardship. 3, you have to always
share some for some other people as well. I want to get you right there as well. Yeah, give me one.
We should focus on doing more ibadah during Ramadan, and also focus more on staying away from all the sins.
Mumtaz, which will have to do with patience. Perfect. What's another benefit we could take? How can we get the most out of Ramadan? Based upon the stories of Yusuf alayhi salam.
Give some sadaqah.
Giving sadaqah. Mumtaz. Perfect. What else? We can get sadaqah and giving sadaqah and being good and giving by way of the ayah of Yusuf alayhi salam. وَأَنَا خَيْرٌ مُنزِلِينَ. Right? When I'm the best of those who accompany and give. Right? So that can be a form of giving.
Reading Quran.
Reading Quran, which could be dhikr. Okay, making remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, having tadabbir. Mumtaz.
Praying extra prayers.
Praying extra prayers. Mumtaz. Remember, guys, I want the benefit from the story itself of Yusuf alayhi salam. Anyone? Come on.
Being patient.
Whoa, where'd that come from? Hey. Being patient, yes. Being patient, mashallah. Okay, let me sum it up for you guys. Remember, we went through all the benefits, right? How many benefits do we have? 11 benefits. Every single last one of those benefits we need to apply them ourselves in Ramadan and outside of Ramadan. Remember, I asked you guys, who wants to be like Yusuf alayhi salam? Every single last person in this room, from what I remember, raised their hand, correct? And why do we want to be like Nabina Yusuf alayhi salam, the Prophet Yusuf? Why? Because he had the most erased character. He was a prophet. He was the most fearing of Allah Ta'ala, from the most fearing of Allah Ta'ala. The first principle we mentioned, which was it? Anyone remember? It was the first benefit, ikhlas. Ikhlas, having ikhlas with Allah Ta'ala. In Ramadan, make sure you're taking in mind that this is a reward that's going to come from Allah Ta'ala alone. And He gives the reward based upon your sincerity, based upon your trying and upholding patience regarding your ikhlas. That's the first benefit. And we've seen that Yusuf alayhi salam had ikhlas about his hardships of over, like we established, over 30 years. Correct? So that's the first thing we need to keep in mind to make the most out of Ramadan. Is having ikhlas. I'm not fasting for my mom. I'm not fasting for my father. I'm not fasting because everybody in a Muslim land is fasting. I'm not fasting because of whatever. I'm fasting for Allah Ta'ala first and foremost. This is your ikhlas, your sincerity to Allah Ta'ala. Second thing is the necessitary reasons or way or plan to get away from anything that is sinful. Remember we said, Yusuf alayhi salam, when he's seen something harmful and wrong, he would run in the opposite direction, literally physically. Already, mentally, and in his heart, he was disconnected from these things. But physically even, he would remove himself. Same in Ramadan. What do we say if somebody tries to harm us while we're fasting? And I saw it, I'm fasting. You're removing yourself from, you're disconnecting yourself. You're not engaging in any back and forth. Automatically, you see this as a fitna, you see this as a trial. I'm fasting. You're going to put my fast on trial. I'm going to remove myself. And I saw it. Okay, I am fasting. So that's the second thing from the benefit of Yusuf that we can establish in our fast as well. Third thing we said was what? The importance of consistently seeking refuge with Allah Ta'ala in times of ease and in times of hardship. Throughout the month of Ramadan, La shak wa la rayb, it's going to be hard for all of us at times dealing with our fasting. Maybe we didn't get suhoor that morning. Maybe we have to go to school and school was a bit heavy this day. Maybe our parents got us doing extra chores because, things are happening. Whatever the case may be, plus tarawih at night. Then you get up early, you do it all over again. Long day, right? In these different times, you're going to have situations where negative thoughts might come to you. Oh, I can't watch YouTube. Oh, I can't play my game. I can't play PlayStation. I can't stream. I can't do whatever the case may be, right? I think nowadays everyone's using Twitch and things and streaming and playing games. Maybe you guys do, maybe you guys don't. I don't know. However, these things might be something which you see is, you're inclined to do it. You want to do it. In these situations where you're feeling inclined to leave the obedience of Allah Ta'ala, leave Allah which Allah Ta'ala has commanded you with as far as fasting, and you seek refuge with Allah Ta'ala. The fourth one, we said was what? In these different times of trials and feeling some type of hardships or even in ease, we make sure we make dua to Allah Ta'ala. Always. Supplicate to Allah Ta'ala in this time of Ramadan. The Prophet ﷺ said, there's the people whose supplication is not rejected. From those people was the fasting person when he breaks his fast. So make sure you're continuing always to make that supplication to Allah Ta'ala. Likewise, we have in Ramadan a time where the supplication is accepted and we're supposed to strive hard. And in this time, it's better than 1,000 months. What time is that? Laylatul Qadr, right? The night of decree, right? So we need to seek this out in the last 10 of Ramadan. Doing what? What do we do in this night? Dhikr, dua. We're asking Allah Ta'ala, right? And we seek closeness with Allah Ta'ala. So we see the importance of dua as well. We see the importance of dua, which is the fourth benefit. The fifth benefit, we said, was attaining beauty inwardly and outwardly. And this time right now, with ikhlas and fasting in the month of Ramadan is one of the best opportunities. How is that? Because nobody knows you're fasting really except for you. For example, if we're in the day right now, we just pray Dhuhr in the masjid. How do I know that you're fasting? How do I know that Sheikh Muhammad right here is fasting? How do I know? I see him not eating, but we're in the masjid, but he might have went home and had a sandwich. You don't know, right? Because this is from our ikhlas to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the best way to get that inward beauty. No one really knows what you're doing except for you. So in these times, you're fasting it sincerely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then know that you stay away from it with that firm desire, with that firm ikhlas, with that iman. This gives you that modesty, that character, that honor, that respectability that we said we need to try to attain. And we said that Yusuf alayhi salam had. And then we said we manifest it inside, it's going to start to show off of our limbs on the outside. We're going to start to want to do more sunnah, more prayers. Or I want to stay up at night. Or I want to do more dhikr. Or I want to read more Quran. Our heart will be more disconnected from doing things that don't benefit us. And be more close to things which benefit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or benefit us through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Things that please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Got it? So that's the 5th thing. The 6th thing we said was guarding one's respectability. And this goes again to the same thing we said before, which is disconnecting yourself from people who try to harm you by saying, I'm fasting. Okay, don't get into back and forths for no reason. Don't get aggravated at the house because you haven't been eating. And now you're taking it out on your sisters and brothers. And now you're taking it out on anyone who comes around you because you're just a mad, hungry person. That, protect yourself. Okay? Don't dive into these things. Say, Ana Sa'im. Keep your honor and respectability to a high level and good manners. The 7th thing from the benefits of Yusuf alayhi salam was what? The excellence of completing our iman. Trying to have the most highest iman and certainty and contemplating that which Allah Ta'ala has obligatory upon us, made obligatory upon us, told us to stay away from. How can we benefit from this in Ramadan? This is an easy one. I'm giving it to you guys. How can we raise our iman in Ramadan? How can we attain certainty in iman with Allah Ta'ala and contemplate what Allah Ta'ala has made wajib upon us? I want someone else. Say it again. Yes, reading Quran. Perfect. What else? Quran is from the best ways, obviously. Shahal Quran, and this is time we're supposed to be reading and finishing Quran, right? And contemplating over Quran, the correct meaning of Quran. Mumtaz, did you say something? Someone over here said something. Dhikr, perfect. All these things we mentioned, guys, is the things that raise the iman. They raise the iman, yes. Dua, of course. Taraweeh, the salawats with the jama'ah in the masjid, playing in a masjid with the people. Zakat is a perfect time, or sadaqah generally. The Prophet ﷺ, he was known for giving sadaqah. But they said when Ramadan came, he was the most of giving, like always. To the point where it was like a wind. You know how the wind comes and goes? This is how the Prophet ﷺ was with sadaqah. Giving easily. It was easy for him. All the time, giving. And we know that during that time, the Prophet ﷺ and the companions, they weren't the richest of people. The Prophet ﷺ slept on dry palm trees leaves. Okay? They were poor. To the point where Umar radiallahu anhu, when he walked in on the Prophet ﷺ and see him getting up from his bed, which is the dry palm leaves, he's seen the imprints in his back. And Umar started to cry. He said, Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah, the kings of Rome are living like this, and you, the Messenger of Allah, living like this? And what did he say? Who knows what he said? The Prophet ﷺ. Aywa, هذا هو. لهم هذا الدنيا. They have this dunya. That's for them. We have the akhirah. That's how we need to be in this life, connected to the hereafter. And doing that is the most, how to attain that? What's a better opportunity than Ramadan? What was that, the 7th, 8th? The 8th. Good manners. Okay? Obviously, having good manners with parents, your siblings, your friends, everyone at school. Being hospitable, which is the 9th point. How can we be hospitable in Ramadan? And when you have guests. When you're invited to someone's house for the break fast. When you're breaking fast with others. Being hospitable. Giving. Okay? Helping people break their fast. Trying to even, when you give and help somebody break their fast, that you share that reward of the fast. As it comes in the Sahih Hadith. You guys know that? So be hospitable. Try to provide for your guests as they come. And get that reward. The 10th one, showing respect and honoring your parents. Obviously, we know that honoring your parents is something which is obligatory outside of Ramadan, but even more so in Ramadan. If you haven't been doing the best of jobs with your parents now, then try to do the best right now in Ramadan. Keep this in mind. As they're taking care of you, they're looking after you, they're feeding you, they're getting you in school, they're clothing you, etc. Keep this all in mind. as there's some people who don't have their parents with them. I was just talking to a brother from Sweden who have an orphanage. They have an orphanage in Syria, one in Iraq, and one in Sudan. All children filled in these orphanages, and they need more places actually, and they don't have any parents. Okay, think about this when you're in Ramadan with parents, like we said, living in a nice area, safe area, having food available, safety. Okay, this is from being thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The 11th thing, and we said, which was the underlying factor, is what? Taqwa and sabr. Having patience, or having piety and having patience. As Allah says in the Quran, indeed I have made fasting obligatory upon you, as I made it obligatory upon those before you, in order to attain what? At-Taqwa, piety. And with that, we will conclude. Ikhwa, I don't want to hold you guys up too long. I'm sorry if it was too long for some of you guys. I hope maybe one day we get an opportunity to go through some of the benefits of the entire surah. Ayah, each ayah. Go through all of them, because it's very, very beneficial. And actually, I wanted to propose something for the guys who are here right now. What I want from you guys, okay, whoever can go through Surah Yusuf and take from it the most benefits from the ayah, not from yourself. That ain't the way we see knowledge. From the ayah, from authentic statements, send it to my email. Inshallah, you get it from the brother. And we will do something. I'll make sure you get a prize. Okay, I want to do that specifically for you guys. Whoever can get the most benefits out of Surah Yusuf. Okay? There's a catch. The deadline is the 5th of Ramadan. Anything after the 5th of Ramadan, I won't accept. But before the 5th, I will personally give you guys a prize. Whoever has the most benefits from Surah Yusuf. Say it again. If we don't have any what? I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, guys, if you guys won't have email, no problem. Write it down. Obviously, you can write it down and give it to me or give it to the brother or whatever the case may be. Take my number, WhatsApp. You guys can contact me. I'm your older brother, Abdul-Hameed. I'm here for you guys. I'm living here in Riyadh, so feel free to contact me whenever. It's no problem. Barakallahu feekum. And
It's going to take me so long because I'm on Surah Hajj.
No, I didn't tell you to memorize it.
Yeah.
Go to it and read it. You don't have to memorize it. Barakallahu feekum. Any questions, guys, before we leave? I don't want to hold you guys up too long.
Bye-bye.
Jazakallah khair. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair everyone for coming. And, Prince, you want to bring your number?
Yeah.